Algebra 2, Chapter 5, Section 3, Polynomial Functions. A polynomial in one variable is expressed in a pattern of a form. So we have a sub n times x to the n plus a sub n minus 1 times x to the n minus 1 plus, and then you follow the pattern down. A2 to x squared, a1 to x plus a0. Now, the important thing here with the a sub things that are going on, those are just coefficients. Nothing is being calculated weird there. The n doesn't mean that. It's just a measure of position. If you notice uh, the sub value for the a's and the exponents match on all of these things. Basically, that's what they're saying is if you have something like uh, 5x cubed plus 2x, well, let me not use 2, um, 7x squared minus 3x plus 2. This is a polynomial, and each one of those coefficients is attached to a particular kind of power of x. So we can refer to them that way. So I could say, hey, what's the quadratic term? Or what's the quadratic coefficient? Go and I find the quadratic part of the problem where it's x squared, and I say, oh, 7. 7 is the quadratic coefficient. So you can describe the each of the coefficients based on the exponent of the variable that's attached to it. Uh, Important thing here is the exponents have to be descending. 3, 2, 1, and technically that's x to the 0 over there. But we usually just don't write x to the 0 because it's always 1. So we always write them in descending order. Uh, the the coefficients, if it's written in standard form, we like to have them to be integers, but it doesn't technically have to be. Um, the big important thing here is what the leading coefficient is. In this case, it's 5. We say that is the leading coefficient. Now, the leading coefficient is always attached to the highest degree term. So if you have it written in descending order, like 3, 2, 1, 0, then it's always the one in the front. But if it's not written in the correct order, then you have yourself it hidden somewhere else. I mean, I could have written the same exact polynomial, 7x squared plus 5x cubed minus 3x plus 2. 5 is still the leading coefficient. This is still the leading coefficient here because it is the coefficient of the largest degree term. And that's really important, and people make that mistake all the time. Um, so it's always best if it's in descending order, but if it happens to not be, you can still figure it out. Just look for the largest degree. Um, so, degrees and leading coefficients. Let's take a look here at example 1. We're going to state the degree of the leading and leading coefficient of each polynomial in one variable. If it is not a polynomial in one variable, explain why. So part A. I notice I have an x to the 5th, an x cubed, an x squared, an x, and a constant. So that is in descending order. All I just did right there was I just checked exponent, 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 constant. And I can see they're all descending, which means they're getting smaller over time. So that tells me that this is the leading term. So I would say it is degree 5, leading coefficient is 8. For part B, well, part 1 was easy. It just had x in it. Part B is different because it has a y in it. So we're trying to talk about whether or not this is a polynomial in one variable, and you can see in that center term, It is also degree 2, but it's not in one variable. It has an x and a y in it. So I would say not a polynomial in one variable, a term has the product of x and y. So that would be my explanation of why it's not a polynomial in one variable. We got two variables in one of the terms. I mean, it's that easy, right? All right. Part C here, I take a look at my exponents. So I just see x's, so that's good. It's one variable. And I see a 4, a 3, an 8, and a 1. Uh-oh. Those aren't written in correct order. I need to write them in descending order. So I see my highest degree there is the 8. So I make sure I have the negative 4x to the 8 out in the front. My next largest, I'm going to put a little mark here to say that I've finished that one. My next largest is the 4th degree. So I have plus 3x to the 4th plus 6x cubed plus 2x. There we go. Now it's a polynomial written in standard form because it has descending powers of exponents. And so this is degree 8. Leading coefficient is negative 4. Now, that is one thing when you're rearranging these. When I rearrange them, I like to grab the whole plus minus sign and the term. I had to make sure that negative came out in the front with it because we are subtracting 4x to the 8 from the other things, so I have to make sure that I have the negative 4 out there in the front.